Okay, Lily, for 19 through 21, you're supposed to find the area of the triangle. Now, do you remember the formula for the area of the triangle? Yeah, it's 1/2 base times height. So the base and the height of a triangle are these sides here. Okay. Let me change colors so that's shows up a little better. These sides are your base and height, okay, not your hypotenuse. So what you're going to have to do is solve those triangles for tangent the same way that we were doing on the first page, right? To solve for x, and then you're going to take that number that you come up with for x and multiply that by the other side that you have, and then divide by 2. Does that make sense for those? Okay. And then for 25 through 27, really you're just looking at those word problems and solving based on the picture. Okay. They're just doing the same thing as the front of the page, just adding a real world scenario to it, because what you've always wanted to do is find out how tall a flagpole is, right? You're welcome. So, Lily, for 19, you're going to say tan 30 equals opposite over adjacent. So the opposite is this 10 and the adjacent is the x. Okay, so 10 over x. And then do you see how to solve for there from there? Okay, so we're solving for x. So in order to do that, remember how we talked yesterday about if the variable's on the bottom, you can just switch the variable and the thing that's on the other side of the equal sign? So it would be x equals 10 divided by tan 30. And that is what you can put in your calculator. So 10 divided by tan 30. So then whatever number you come up with there, Lily, you're going to multiply that by 10 and then divide it by 2. Okay? You're welcome. So, Charlotte Ann, tell me what kind of calculator you have. So, when you put in, Charlotte Ann, type in, let me write this out here, okay? Type in 15 divided by tan 60, okay? And then hit enter and tell me what you get. Are you closing the parentheses when you do it? Anybody else have a TI-84 and know what to do? Gee, Natalie, thanks. So Charlotte Ann, go into mode one more time. Click on mode and then go down. Tell me what is highlighted before you go down to it, okay? Is degrees, radians, or GRAD? Okay, so degree already has it's already dark outlined. Okay, will you type that back into your calculator, 15 divided by tan 60, and then will you turn your camera on and hold your calculator up to your camera? Okay, I gotta make you bigger. Hold on. Okay, you're putting in theta. You need to type in the tan button. Okay, there's a button that says TAN. Yeah, Lily, we can work on 21. Did that work, Charlotte Ann? Okay. That should fix it. All right, Lily. So for 21, let me zoom in a little. Well, that went in and out, didn't it? Okay. For 21, you're solving for the area, right? So you're going to need to say tan of 36 equals opposite over adjacent. Okay, so equals 22 over x. Now remember, a variable's on the bottom, so we can just flop these, right? So we'll say x equals 22 divided by tan 36. So then what do you get for that? Okay, and then take that now, and you're going to multiply that by 22, and then divide that by 2. Yeah, I think the answer on that, the answer key has 333.1. And the difference probably is rounding that x value first. If you round the value for x and then plug it into your formula, you're going to be off by a couple of decimal places, but that's okay. So you did it right. $13 on the worksheet, Abby. Okay, hold on. Let me pull up that image, okay? Charlotte Ann, so when you put in 15 divided by 1060, did it give you an answer that time? Did it give you 8.66 and a bunch of decimals? Did it give you like 40 something? Okay, go back in to the mode again and just check it one more time. Okay, Abby, so for number 13, let me see if I can zoom into it a little bit. Okay. Number 13, you first thing, just do tan of 45 equals, let me turn back to my marker. Tan 45 equals opposite over adjacent, okay? So x over 5. And then solve for that, okay? And tell me what you get. Charlotte Ann, it might be better for you to find some kind of an online calculator that you can type these into, like Mathway or MathPapa. That way you're not held up from doing your work, and then maybe we can look at your calculator in class tomorrow. You got 1 for x, Abby? So did you do, since we're dividing by 5, we're going to have to multiply by 5 on both sides, okay? So did you do 5 times tan of 45? Okay. No, don't be lost. Just type in that on your calculator, 5 times the tan of 45. Because see, if we're trying to solve for x, we're trying to get x by itself. So since we're dividing by 5, in order to get x by itself, we have to multiply by 5. And so that cancels on that side. And that when we multiply by 5 on both sides, we end up with 5 times tan 45 equals x. You with me still? So in your calculator, type in 5 times tan 45, close parentheses, and then enter. Did you get 5? Okay. So that's going to tell you that x equals 5. And now it says to do it using the 45, 45, 90, which is like our tic-tac-toe thing we did, okay? So here we have our tic-tac-toe board. 45, 45, 90. And then we have x, x, and x squared of 2. Is that right? Okay. So now our sides across from 45, we just solved and know that those are 5, right? Well, I guess technically we still have to solve that. So hold on. Let's talk about this triangle for a second, okay? Do you see that it's an isosceles triangle? Okay, so remember about isosceles triangles, those two legs are both equal to each other, right? Okay, so we can see that the one side is definitely going to be equal to the other side too. That's another way to look at it. Does that make sense? All right, so when we did our 45, 45, 90, let's see. When we look at the sides that we have, okay, look at the sides over here that we have. I'm going to erase all this mess. Oh no, I erased all my white. Okay, so if we look at the sides of the triangle that we have, we know that one of them is 5, right? And on 45, 45, 90 on our tic-tac-toe, we know that our things that go in here, our ratios, are x, x, and x squared of 2. So if one of the sides is x, and we know that it equals 5, then the other side that's labeled as x is also 5, because these are the same here. Is that good? Okay, good. Let's see. Lily asked me to do number 25, but she just left. Anybody else? Number 21, Isabel, on the worksheet. Okay, hold on just a second. Oh, 22. Okay, that's fine. It's still the same picture for me. And you need 22 also, Abby. Okay, so let me zoom in a little. Find the perimeter of the triangle and then round to the nearest tenth. So, you know, on 19, 20, 21, we had to find the area of the triangle, right? So in order to find the area, we had to find that missing side. Well, now for perimeter, we have to have all 3 sides, right? Now, how do we find a missing side on a right triangle? I'll give you a hint. Starts with a P. Yes, Isabel, Pythagorean theorem. So you're going to use the tangent. So tan 40 equals x over 40, okay? To solve for this side. All right. Excuse me. So then you'll have your two sides, and you just need to solve for your hypotenuse. So you're going to plug into a squared plus b squared equals c squared, right? And that will give you your third side here. And then you can just add all three sides. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's back up. Are you good with the tan 40 equals x over 40? Are you good with that part? Okay, so do that part and tell me what you get. Okay, Abby, yours is right. Natalie, you may have some settings off or something again. Did you do 40 times tan 40? Okay, so it should come up with 33.6. Or actually, it's going to be 33.56 and a bunch of decimals, okay? So now we know this side is 33.56, okay? So we know one side and the other side of a right triangle. Those two sides are your a squared and your b squared, right? Okay, Abby, so on this, if you're looking at this part here, okay, we've got to solve for x. So since we're dividing by 40, it's the same thing we had to do a while ago, where since we divided by 40, we had to multiply by 40 on both sides. And it's not just 40 times 40, it's 40 times tan 40, okay? Does that make sense? And so if you did tan 40 times 40, it might have had something to do with parentheses on your calculator, okay? Yeah, that's what it was. If you typed in tan 40 times 40 but didn't close the parentheses, and hit enter with it looking like that, how I typed it in the comments, if you hit enter with it looking like that, then what your calculator thinks is that you're saying the tangent of 3600. And the tangent of 3600 sorry, not 3600, 1600 is negative 0.36. So that's where you went wrong on that, Abby, when you got the negative 0.36. Are you good? Okay. So we know this side is 33.56 and this side is 40. So in your calculator, you're going to type 33.56 squared plus 40 squared and then hit equals. Now that's going to give you, okay, yeah, 52.2 is your C, okay? So that tells you this third side over here is 52.2. Now for the perimeter, you have to add this one, and this one, okay? Natalie, that's close. Look at this. Yes, 125.8. Does that make more sense, girls? Abby, are you still with me? Okay. All right, so everybody's good on that one. Anyone else have questions? Natalie, which one's on the bookwork? And then Charlotte Ann. So the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. Okay. So if you, all of them, Natalie. So if you are going to find the area of those triangles, remember the base and the height are the legs, not the hypotenuse. Okay. So you're going to have to find that other side using the tangent ratio. Okay. And then take that side that you calculated and the side that it gave you, multiply those together, and then divide by 2. Does that make sense, Charlotte Ann? Okay. All right, girls. 4, 6, and 8 are just like the first part of your worksheet. Or maybe it's not 4, 6, and 8. Maybe it was just 4 and 4. So 4 was like the beginning of the worksheet where you had to find tan A, tan B, round it to, like, do the division and round it to 4 decimal places. Okay. So then looking at, well, then you don't need help on all of it. So let's see. If we look at 6 and 8 here, you're just going to set those up how we have been. There's nothing new there, okay? You're going to use the tangent of 41 on number 6. And what's tangent equal? Tangent equals opposite over adjacent. No. All right, so it's going to be tan 41 equals, I think that's 12 over x. And then you're going to solve for x. Same thing for number 8. Number 10 on the bookwork is just like 13, 14, and 15 from the worksheet. Are you doing it on your calculator, Natalie, or on your computer? Okay. What kind of calculator? Well, you said you have a TI-84, right? And that's what Charlotte Ann couldn't get to work either, huh? Okay, so Charlotte Ann, did you ever get your calculator to work? Oh, you guys don't all have TIs? So Natalie, maybe go to Mathway. Okay. Have you used Mathway before? Okay, hold on. Okay, so you're going to want to go here and do something like, well, this is the one we've been doing because we know what that equals. 15 divided by tan 60. And hit enter. And you can say evaluate. And it gives you the answer there. Okay? But remember, we got to figure this out before you have your test because you can't use your calculator on your computer for your test. You have to use your calculator, okay? Yeah, we can do 10, Abby. Hold on. Okay, so for 10, I don't know why that got smaller. All right. Let me give myself some drawing room on here. Hold on. Okay. So on 10, we're supposed to find the value of x using the definition of tangent, which is our TOA, okay? Or tangent equals opposite over adjacent. And then we're also supposed to find the value of x using the 30, 60, 90 tic-tac-toe thing, okay? So let's do this one first. Tangent equals opposite over adjacent, okay? So we have 30 degrees, right? So our opposite side is x, and our adjacent side is this. So we're going to say tan of 30 equals x over 10 square root 3. Now to solve for that, since we're dividing by 10 square root 3, we have to multiply both sides by 10 square root 3. Okay, so those cancel out. Now, the way that you put that in your calculator is I would do, well, Abby, on yours, you should be able to type in 10 root 3 and then times tan 30. See if you can do that. Okay, what'd you type in? Yeah, Natalie, it's 10. So, Abby, clear everything out and try this, okay? Do 10 times the square root of 3. Okay, so first just do 10 times the square root of 3 and hit enter. And then take that and do your answer of that times tan 30. Okay, so I think, Abby, what happened when you typed that in, if you do 10 square root 3 times tan 30, I think it leaves the tangent part under the square root, under the radical. So it's like saying 10 times, yeah. So you got to be careful when you're typing it all in together to close those parentheses, okay? And that will make it go the way that it needs to. All right, so we're good. We got 10 for that. So we know that x equals 10 that way. Okay, so that's the definition of tangent. Now let's do it this way. So tic-tac-toe board, right? This is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. And what we put in here is x x square root 3 and 2 times x, right? Okay. So across from the 30-degree side is x, right? We don't know what it is. Across from the 60-degree side, which would be this angle, right? So across from that is the 10 square root 3. So if we look at this, let me change colors. Okay, so if we look at just this part here, okay, we see that across from the 60-degree side is supposed to be in the form of x square root 3. And what we have there is 10 square root 3. So that should tell you that x equals 10. You see it? Okay. So you've got, now to compare the results, you get 10 both ways. Okay, they're both equal to each other. Does that make sense now? Okay, the last part lost you still, or you're more clear on it now? Oh, about comparing. Well, we solved for x on this one and got 10. And we solved for x doing it this way with the tic-tac-toe and got 10. So it just wants you to look at your two answers and see that you did come out the same way. So this is the stuff that we did in 7.4, right? This thing. And remember I told you guys it's a shortcut that you don't have to use because doing SOHCAHTOA works every time on a right triangle. This one was a shortcut down here, okay? I mean, it's more writing doing it this way, but if you know that the side across from the 60 degrees is supposed to be x square roots of 3, and you look at that and you say, oh, it's 10 square roots of 3, so x is 10, that's how it's a shortcut. That's all it wanted you to see. Let's see. What number did you say, Charlotte Ann? 14? You're welcome, Abby. Okay, so for 14, you're supposed to describe the error in the statement of tangent ratio and then correct if possible. Otherwise, write not possible. Okay, so they found the tangent of 55, right? Tangent of 55. So that's going to be opposite over adjacent. Yes? So opposite and then adjacent here, which is 18 over BC. But let's look at this, okay? Tangent ratio only works on right triangles. So if this one is 90 degrees, 90 plus 30 plus 55, does that give me a triangle? Okay, so that's what your error is there. Okay, Isabel, so on number 27, look at it this way. You're looking at a triangle. That's a 45, 45, 90 triangle. So we know it's a right triangle, but what other kind of triangle is that? Isosceles, yeah, it's a really hard word to spell, but that's right. It's an isosceles triangle. Okay, so if we're looking at that, we know it's an isosceles triangle. So what do we know about these sides? So we know automatically that it's going to be 555 feet away. Now, you could do that and say tan 45 equals 555 over x because it's opposite over adjacent here. And then swap those. So you would type in 555 divided by tan 45. Let me pull it up, Abby. Okay. I think 14 is the one I worked out with Charlotte Ann. Yeah, that's not possible because it's not a right triangle. Okay, so Abby, for number 12, you're supposed to find the tangent of 30 and the tangent of 45 using the 45, 45, 90 and 30, 60, 90. Okay. So that one is confusing. And my screen is messing up. That's my timer to get my kids off the bus. Let's see. Abby, I would set up your table, your tic-tac-toe, all right, for that, for a 45, 45, 90 and a 30, 60, 90. And do, so you can see it's X, X, X squared 2, and then so on, okay? And then that way, well, no, let's see. Hold on. I'm trying to think of a way to explain it so it's not more confusing. Okay, here's an idea. For those, Abby, flip back in your book into section 7.4. Okay. Look at those theorems. Like it says using the 45, 45, 90 triangle. And then the 30, 60, 90 triangle theorem. So flip back and look at those theorems in your book. And that will show you pictures of the triangles to look at. Okay. So then you can say, okay, the tangent of 30 of the 30-degree angle in the 30, 60, 90 triangle is opposite over adjacent. You can see which sides from that triangle to use. Am I making sense? Okay, here. Let me share it a different screen, okay? Okay, so see here we have the, this is the 45, 45, 90 triangle theorem, right? So if we're going to find the tangent of the 45-degree angle, I'm going to say tangent of 45 equals opposite over adjacent, which is x over x. Okay, so x over x equals 1, right? And then if I go to probably to the next page or page after that, but it's logged me out, so I can't do that. If you go to in the next couple of pages, you'll have the 30, 60, 90 one, so you can look at it the same. Does that help? All right, so just flip back in the book to 7.4 and look at those theorems and how it has the triangles drawn, and then solve for the tangent of 30 and the tangent of 45 off of whichever triangle is 30 and 45, okay? Solve for it just like we were doing. Don't use the tic-tac-toe thing, okay? All right. Okay, guys, I got to get my kids off the bus, so I will talk to you later. Email me if you have questions, okay?